going to ask you to join in, just so you know.
Everyone loves happy hour, and no one makes an hour happier than actress, comedian, author, host, and self-proclaimed hat girl, Dee Dee Sorvino, who each show serves up an hour of good times and great conversation. Food, culture, fashion, current events, history, or just good gossip. Grab a cocktail and take a seat as Dee Dee shares stories, talks with friends, and makes you wish you could keep the bar tab open all night. Where there's a party, there's Dee Dee, and you are invited. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Drinks with Dee Dee. Here's your host, Dee Dee Sorvino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Happy Labor Day weekend, 2023. We are going to laugh and joke and hang out and try to keep it a little lighter. You never know where we're going to go, but it's always going to go somewhere down some hole. Every single time. Don't know which one, but I'm Dee Dee Sorvino, your host, Emmy winning host. That means I'm a really good gabber. If you don't like what I say, too bad, deal with it. If you do, stay with us. And then if you don't like what I say, you're going to stay even more. I know how you people are. That's how it is. You're rubberneckers. You see a train wreck and you're watching more. You know how it is. People who are hated, just like Donald Trump. These people hate Donald Trump. You know the haters watch him every freaking minute. Biden the same way. I know, but Biden the same way. Those who do not like him, they watch him every minute too. So it's like, look, I'd rather have the haters, but I'm thinking I got a bit of both. Lovers, haters. And the show today is about Labor Day weekend and full of lovers and full of losers. So you know how we like to gossip on this show and how we like to give people hell. And you know, there's usually a little theme that lasts about 3 minutes, and then we go off the rails, which is the better part anyway, like a bar. Because we are a virtual bar. We're the virtual bar. So I'm going to start with my drink because it's Labor Day weekend and it's sort of coming to the end of summer. So I have a bathing suit on. Woo!
Whoa!
Yeah! Yeah, too bad I can't fill it out. Thank you for, encouraging the fact that, it's hazy enough that you can't tell. But not all of us got those gifts. So, but what I do have is a screwdriver. And I thought that was fun to have on Labor Day weekend when you have people. You have a harmonica? Okay, let's go right to Harmonica Man. Michael Gilkison, comedian and filmmaker, and that's my favorite two things. And actually, Tommy, you're an actor, filmmaker, and a vet. So we got a good crew. I don't know where the girls are. Where the girls are. We'll see if they show up.
I don't know.
I like being surrounded by hot men. That's cool.
Playing with the boys.
There she is.
You're what I want. Listen to me. Nothing I want out of my vida. See, we just sing. We don't sing along. We just sing whatever the hell we want.
We all sing
right.
separate
I have no
songs
idea
at
what
the
you're
same time.
Of course you do. We got started crazy early. The crazies early, Stephanie. So how are you? What are you drinking?
I've got a Syrah from Chile. It's called Coralillo, and it's not bad. I mean, it's
Sounds fancy.
Yeah.
I'm having
But
a screwdriver, and Michael's
Okay.
having a harmonica and something else. What are you
Okay.
doing, Michael? Yeah, why don't you drink for once? I don't know why. You kind of stopped drinking about 2 months ago for some reason. Oh, yeah, you got
Right.
COVID again because you're a
Oh.
weakling. Because you always get COVID because you can't handle it. You're not a manly man. That's why I always get the damn COVID. It's ridiculous. You've had COVID
I
18
could kill
times.
you.
your hand.
I
Good
could kill
It's
you.
alcohol to kill germs, man.
You know what it
Yes.
was? Is I
Tommy's right.
started
If you were
slacking.
drinking, you would not be getting COVID. Duh. I've never had COVID. You know why?
I started washing my hands for 25 seconds instead of 30. That's what I think.
I'm not
Yeah.
a doctor, but I have played one, and I'll write you scripts for booze.
Well, speaking of which, so you're not
Black
drinking
Rifle
at all?
Coffee. Black
Is it-
Rifle Coffee.
Oh, God. Come on, Michael.
It's noon on the West Coast. It's noon.
It's 1. You
1
don't even know
o'clock
what
here.
Is it?
you don't even know what time it is. Good
Oh,
grief.
man, I'm a mess.
3,
You
I'm a
have
mess.
done this show
Yeah.
about 3,000 times,
one.
and it's always the same time, 1 p.m., okay?
Dee Dee, he lives in the grass country of California.
I think
You
he's
know what I mean?
smoking grass. He's doing the
I know.
gummies. The gummies.
My dog.
This
he
is where
Doing
the
a
took
gummies
pod.
one
He's a
grow.
just acting like a pothead lately. Did you switch from liquor to pot? Because you were acting totally like a pothead.
No, I don't do that.
You live in Grass Valley. I think you're. Are you sure? I think you're doing.
No,
are you smoking grass?
No, you would know. I'd be all paranoid and there's a I'd be like Ray Liotta.
Oh yeah,
about to get busted.
Yeah. Wasn't it great? I love that.
Don't make any phone calls from the house. So of course, what does she do?
That's one of my favorite scenes from the movie is that part and the helicopter.
No, but I think one of his funniest lines, and there were so many funny lines in that movie. I remember when I first watched it, Paul's like, "Oh my gosh, who did I marry?" Because I just thought it was funny, and it's like this gangster, like dark, but there's so many funny parts in it. Don't you all think?
Yeah, it's great dark humor.
Definitely,
great dark humor.
And I think that Ray Liotta, whenever he says, "Every woman in my life like this," it's like as all the women give me a hard time. I thought it was funny. So, Tommy, where are you? And let's all take a look at Skinny Tommy. He's lost a ton of weight, looking great, feeling. Well done. Tell us what's going on.
I'm going to be one of them new pinup guys. So,
woo.
Well, I've
got a picture of you shirtless next to my desk.
That fucking scares me.
That's disturbing.
No, and Michael, you guys remember in Michael's first film, he went topless. Like he just took it. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's an artistic choice.
Yeah. I liked it.
It's an art form, I
thought it worked. I loved it. And so do you all remember in Flip Mode, he takes off his shirt and he goes to the ground crying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fake movie within the movie.
Right.
Epic.
Yeah. So Tommy, back to you. How is Lydia? Oh, we're going to go back to you, Michael, and your movie.
She's doing really good. She came home Monday night after 3.5 weeks of being gone. She has her appetite back. She's got her smile back.
Hey, you guys! Back. In the audience out there, if you're listening, that's Tommy's wife, Lydia. She's been in the hospital. She's had some bouts, so she's doing much better now.
Yes, and thank God, and thanks for all your support and everybody who's checked up on her. And Dee Dee, Mike, Stephanie, you guys are great.
Hey, it's family here at Drinks
and
Dee Dee until we kick you off the show, and it has happened.
Yeah, right.
Until you're out, Tom. And a good Godfather when they said you're out, Tom. That's what happens. You're just out, and usually you don't come back. We might give you one more chance.
Proud.
The survivors.
the drinks.
The bar.
The proud. The drinks.
Yeah, the bar buddies at last.
A couple of the past shows, Dee Dee, reminds me of the old Gong Show when they came out with the big hook. Oh, you're gone.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's either the Gong Show or I'm the Murphy Brown podcast. It's like you're fired, you're out.
Yeah,
you're not funny.
We should do a slideshow and say, "This used to be my playground. This used to be my childhood dream.
This used to be the play," and then they're not allowed back because you all know this. I won't say names.
Oh no, we'll do the QR code.
Oh great! Oh, that's so funny. I forgot to laugh. That's a knee slapper, Michael. You know how I love QR codes.
Whoa! What's wrong with that? Everything is wrong with that.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Like, others were trying to say, and we're talking about Paul Snub again, of course, because it's the worst thing to happen this year. Well, not the worst, but in Academy world. So, yeah, it's one thing when some people say, "Oh, well, they must have forgot." I say, they didn't forget. He put them in a freaking QR code. Of course they didn't forget. Yeah. They did it on purpose.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember that night, Carrie and I were standing there at the museum. We were watching it. And as soon as it came up, I started recording it on my phone. And I said, "Where's Paul?" And we were going like this. And so I played it back on my phone. Did I miss it? Did some chick walk by and I looked at her instead of the TV?
No.
And no, it wasn't there. And I said to Harry, ask him next time you see him, I said, "Dee Dee is going to be fucking pissed."
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she was.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
knew. They found out.
Yeah. You all saw for a week what I was doing. I was ripping them a new one.
Yeah.
And and my manager's like, "Well, what happens every day." I said, "Bullshit. I am doing this. I am doing this without you." I mean, I was frantic. So, yeah, Tom, you were right. Yep. I was at Musso and Frank's, just tears going down my face, celebrities everywhere. I had another party to go to. I said, "Forget it. I'm sitting here and drinking, and I'm furious. And I'm going to do something about this." So that all got conjured up at Musso and Frank's. Have you all ever been there? It's like the best place.
I want to
No.
go.
I want to go though. I do.
Well, you all have to come out. We have to figure out a drinks with Dee Dee in studio with everybody, with the regulars at least.
I
And,
agree.
be
I
fun.
agree. I got to figure out how to talk my husband into letting me go.
Yeah, because you're the one far away, Stephanie. I mean, Tommy's. He's easy.
Yeah.
He can get there, and Michael's
Well-
kind of far away, but he can do it because he's a LA filmmaker, and we can make. You can bundle. You could come and bundle with something else. To
Yeah.
plan it
Yeah.
out. That'd be
Well,
good.
That's true.
it's my husband thinks that Los Angeles is Mogadishu. So
Well, yeah,
it's
but
like,
you've got Michael and Tom. I mean, what's the
That's-
problem?
that- what language is that?
I don't know.
What
No,
is
it's
it? What's it mean?
Mogadishu is the capital city of Somalia.
Oh, okay.
Remember
Like Black
Hawk
Hawk Down.
Down?
Black Hawk
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I want to, and I have. Well, you guys are there, and
I know, but
My
I'm there
friend-
by myself all the time, walking around by
I know.
myself. I mean, you've got to be smart about it. But you're okay. Well, you're.
yeah,
Hey, and I mean this.
I-
I mean this in the best sense. You're a tough broad. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
nobody
I-
will bother
Fine.
you.
Nobody's gonna bother you.
I know that, and I have other friends there too. My friend Kamran and some other people, and I'm like going. I think I'd be fine. I'd get a decent hotel in a decent area, good area.
Of course, you'll be
And
fine.
Go to the studio, go to the venue.
No,
wherever
Stephanie,
we're gonna go, and-
don't even go to Hollywood. Go to Burbank. Burbank is very, very safe. It's really
Oh,
Republican,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Burbank
Those of
is
us
a
that work
neighborhood.
there,
Go to
those of us that
Burbank.
work there don't go to Hollywood.
No, there's
We
no
let the
I've
reason.
tourists
only-
go there, and we go to Burbank, and
The
we go
studio is in Burbank, and it's right by the Warner Brothers Studios. It doesn't get any safer than that.
Oh,
No,
I've
it's nice
actually
over
been
there.
to Hollywood. I've got a picture of me standing.
No, but
under
you're
the
not going to Hollywood.
sunset.
Ooh,
There's nothing there.
tourists. A lot of tourists.
There's nothing there. You know?
Burbank's
Yeah.
nice.
I mean,
I could almost live in Burbank, but it's still in California, so I'm kind of like.
I
yeah.
But
love
I
it.
do. I do
love
like
Milt.
Burbank.
I love Milt and Edie's dry cleaners in Burbank.
That's
It
so
looks-
weird.
It looks exactly the same as 1950. You have to admire the
Cool.
preservation at a minimum, you know?
Yeah.
I know what you're
We
talking
make-
about. That does look cool, but I thought you would have picked Warner Brothers or the Smokehouse or like UBNGO Studios
course.
because that's sort of the center of the universe.
UBN
Yeah.
Go Studios is my number one place.
And then you go over
Oh.
to Big Boy and have a burger.
Yeah.
You know,
So
across
you
the street.
guys, it's Labor
Yeah,
Day.
the big
It's
boy.
Labor Day
Bob's
weekend.
Big Boy.
It's Labor
Yeah.
Day weekend. It's Thursday before, so it's really already started. You know, I couldn't
Yeah,
can't
it
even
did.
find anybody.
Okay.
So
we
sh-
can
show-
tell.
yeah, the show airs. The show airs Friday, definitely the start of Labor Day weekend. So, what do you all think of the Labor Day weekend celebration? When you think of Labor Day, what do you think of?
I think of parties.
I
And I
think
think of-
of
No more wearing white in Monte Carlo
Why do you
after
think-
Labor Day.
Why do you think I'm wearing white? I'm getting the last. I'm getting my last
you go.
Why
white.
not wear white after Labor Day? That's
Where'd
the
that
ever-
most
where'd that
important
ever come
thing to
from?
know.
I even have white shoes on because I want to get it in.
Where'd
Yeah.
that ever come from?
Oh, I don't know, some
it's some-
fashion thing.
yeah. Coco
Yeah, I know,
Chanel
I know.
probably said something or whatever.
But I
you
still
know.
wear.
Yeah.
I'll wear winter white in the winter, but there's a difference between bright white and winter white. I do agree that after Labor Day, it's better to knock it off.
I
I'll
have-
have to explain
the
it to you in the
coolest
Hamptons
hair.
sometime, Tom.
I have the
I
coolest
don't
pair
wear
of
white
Sometime when we
because-
go to the
white
Hamptons,
jeans.
we'll have to discuss it over some croquet.
Right, I hear you. Yes, and then we'll do watch the polo. Oh yes,
Oh,
Then
that
we'll
would
go
be
croquet.
delightful.
then a little croquet.
I'd have to
Yeah.
wear my ascot to
What about
explain
golf?
it to you.
You guys will be playing
if-
golf.
Now, what about cornhole?
What is this, Arkansas?
Cornhole.
You did the first time. Look, I was
I tell
I
you
was
what,
in DC
Oh, boy.
when I first heard that, and I'm like, cornhole? What the fuck is that? A
do
cornhole?
not, do
Because
not
you know what it
challenge.
sounds like.
Do not challenge anyone from Ohio to cornhole. You are
Or
in
Indi-
for a world of pain.
Or
Yeah.
Indiana or Kentucky.
Or
Seriously.
Wisconsin. Or
Stephanie.
Wisconsin.
And I were all from the Midwest. And when I first heard cornhole, My mind went somewhere else from the rural
I
community.
know.
Yeah,
I
And it
know.
wasn't throwing a
Mine was
little
too.
bag in a hole.
Yeah,
No, it's like what
I'm
the
like,
fuck, man. I mean, that
you
is
know.
so messed up. And I was at I was in DC at the time, and a friend from home, and I went home for something like, hey, cornhole's a big game. It's a big game around here. I'm like, what happened to my hometown? Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Because
Yeah.
it just sounds so. Michael, what does cornhole sound like to you?
Oh, it
The
sounds
game.
like
What would you be doing?
sounds more
I'm
like
not going to say it.
the
I'm not
the
gonna say what I
anatomy,
think.
the anatomy.
Yeah.
I know,
of a
right?
Person.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a piece of
Yeah.
Sounds
corn
like
is
an
like a
exit.
wiener.
Sounds
I'm
like
sorry.
an exit interview.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
The corn looks like a wiener and a hole. That is where everybody's mind goes. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and you know I'm right.
Yeah.
A
Corn,
tuchus. A
wiener,
tuchus.
hole.
It makes you think
Yeah.
of a tuchus.
Yeah. I don't. It actually made me think of way worse, but
But it's
that's
funny.
where my mind goes.
It's funny.
What could
And,
be way
and-
worse
That's
than a
because you're from
tuchus?
lacrosse.
I know.
A tuchus.
Ah, ha, ha.
And then
Uh.
and now they have cornhole tournaments on ESPN too.
Oh
Cornhole,
God.
know,
actual
right?
cornhole tournaments. It's a big deal.
The guys
All
I
right.
played against in Cincinnati, they threw the beanbags in the hole more, and they didn't miss. They didn't miss. Bam, 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 bam. Me,
Well,
I
you
was
know-
lucky to get it on the board.
I
Yeah.
think they went with that because horseshoes. We used to play horseshoes, but you can't do it all the time. You can't. There's places you can't do it. Cornhole, you can set it up anywhere and
Yeah.
play it, and it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Well,
my theory about horseshoes is that people got hand grenades involved, and that's what stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
think
here's the
people just got drunk and hit people in the head with horseshoes across the bar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would
but
take them
what
out.
about-
Those are
yeah,
sturdy.
What about lawn
yard
darts?
jarts? Yard
Yes.
jarts.
Jarts.
Oh,
Jarts.
Those are the dangerous suckers. It's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, you really could die from that. And I'm sure people have. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that in Kentucky, people have been taken to the hospital with a yard jar right here.
yeah.
No doubt
Yeah.
about it. That there have
Yeah.
been a ton,
Yeah.
you never hear about it anymore. Do they even exist anymore? I
No,
never
No,
see
they
they
them.
don't.
They don't.
that's
They
why
took
you-
I mean,
Yeah, so
they're
they
dangerous.
went to a cornhole, where there's this bag. So you get hit in the head with a bag, no big deal. You might have a little
I
headache.
would
but
I
that's
would
the
have
end of
liked to
it.
have been in the meeting to make a commercial for that. I got this great idea for kids. We'll hand them these things and tell them go out in the yard and maybe we'll see you later.
Yeah, they've got the pointed metal, and it was metal. Pointed
Yep.
metal.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
We
it really
actually-
was when you think about it.
It
we
was,
actually
really.
had
It
a
was-
set. We had a set.
Yeah,
I think
so
we
did
did
we.
too.
Played.
I think we
Yeah,
did too.
We
Yeah.
did, totally did,
Yeah.
and we played them all the. I mean, it's really more the adults than the kids, but all you have to do is go, "Hey, sucker," and you just throw it like a throwing star, and they're done. I mean,
Yeah.
you're taking a kid out, so I guess that's
Yeah,
why we
you
don't
could-
have them anymore. Or
Yeah.
adult, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That could kill you like that.
It's
There's
like,
no
what
Right.
could
doubt.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about that, it really is crazy. But that
But-
they were
yeah,
popular.
you know,
I mean, didn't
they
we
gave
learn
us-
from bar darts?
Yeah. Oh,
What did
my
the
dad was
ATF
really good
do
at that. By
after
the way.
that? It's like nothing.
So
All
what?
right,
Okay.
I have.
So
you know
go
what?
ahead, Stephanie.
It has replaced a lot of this stuff,
Hmm.
and it fascinates me. Pickleball. What?
Oh my God, yes.
What
Oh,
is with
no.
pickleball? Can you all explain it to me? I don't get the allure of it. It's not that I'm against it. I just don't understand really what it is.
It's tennis for people with knee problems.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. It's slower
Yeah.
paced and anybody can play it no
Yeah.
matter what condition you're in. And which is a great idea.
so it's
Yeah.
a big
I never
Florida
heard-
game.
Yeah.
They're always
never heard
playing
about it.
pickleball in Florida.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, old people.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I'm trying to
it's
think, it was
like,
like 4 years ago. John Duffy and I went to Phoenix for the opening of JCP Studios there. And they had a pickleball tournament. We're going like, what the hell is pickleball? I'm thinking pickles. And then they told us and explained it. It's like, wow, I've never heard of it
Okay, but
before. And then all of a
again-
sudden,
May
yeah.
I share this? Because you have cornhole and you have pickleball. Here we are again. Here we are again.
I'm sensing
In
the
all
theme.
respect, it's all Disney. It's all Disney stuff. You know how Disney hides all the sexual themes and they have penises
Yeah.
on the castles and
Yeah.
Yes,
all these
yes.
crazy stuff. I mean, do you think these people are so bored that they feel like they have to do that? Do you think that they just want to get away with it? Do you think they're just pervs? Do you think, why do they do that? Especially when it's supposed to be the kids' place. I mean, I
I
think
think
I
some
know the
people-
answer.
I think some people just want to get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how far they can push it.
I mean, but if you look at Sleeping Beauty's castle and you look at the castle it was modeled after, it's like Ludwig II had issues because that place is, lots of phallic symbols everywhere. And they just, I mean, that's
Look, and,
because
care if
castles
it's
don't
like
look like
if it's like Lulu's house of repute. Okay, that's what it's for. But when it's a kid's place, I think it's kind of crummy.
yeah,
It is.
Give them a minute to be a kid. Little kids are usually playing with their wieners and balls and whatever else anyway. I mean, but give them a minute to be able to figure it out on their own.
yeah.
Pushed on them by adults.
I remember back when my kids were little and took them to see Lion King, and then somebody says, "Oh, there's a dick in the sky." I'm sitting there, no, and then you go look at it, and go, "God, there is."
There is.
And my next response was, "Who sits through all these cartoons looking for dicks and stuff?"
But the cartoons now. I mean, I think they're great for adults. I'll watch these cartoons and the ones with.
Oh,
Look, what are the ones with Seth? What's his face? The really funny guy, Seth
MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane, yeah.
So he is so funny, in my opinion, and he does
Oh my
funny
God, he's
cartoons.
hilarious.
And if he's involved in that, they're always naughty. They are so naughty and so funny and so clever for adults. But if I had kids, and thank goodness I don't, but if I did and they were watching them, they'd be a little depraved, cock, cock, dick, dick, fuck you, fuck. I mean, because these cartoons are for adults, really.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they're funny.
It's really funny. When I was in college, I took the history of animation, and all those cartoons that came out, like the old Warner Brothers and the Tom and Jerry's and stuff, they were all made for adults.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the funniest stories that our professor told us was they got drunk. They're drinking scotch and bourbon, smoking cigars and cigarettes, and tried to come up with every way they could figure out to blow off Daffy Duck's beak.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a bunch of 20-year-olds in your class; they're all laughing their butts off.
Well,
and it's funny.
And the little kids know now. I mean, look, they know. When you're a little kid, I knew when I was naughty. Now, we all knew when it was naughty and gets us started naughty. I remember this little character, when I was a kid, and we thought it was so funny, me and my brothers, when it was this little character in one of those little cartoons, they'd go, eat a little piece of meat, eat a little piece of meat. And I don't know why we thought it was funny, because it sounded so naughty and it was stupid. I mean, it's just, but that's what they would do. They'd have all these double entendres and they'd get the kids wacky early.
Yeah. I mean, and like Bugs Bunny dressing up, cross-dressing, like, as Carmen Miranda or whatever to mess with Elmer Fudd.
And then you've got these voluptuous, girl characters like a Jessica Rabbit, but they kept doing that and very sexual, whatever, for these little kitty cartoons. So anyway, going back to Labor Day weekend, I mean, do you just chill out? Do you go? It seems like to me in Labor Day weekend, people don't take trips. I feel like they're in the backyard doing stuff. Yeah. Because it's school time and back to going into the fall. And I feel like it's like, that's what's advertised, the last hurrah, the last time you get your mattresses, the last sale, whatever, which it is. You're just going into a new season, and in my opinion, a better season. I prefer fall over summer anyway. But doesn't it seem like to you all, nobody ever goes away on Labor Day weekend? I feel like they come home and have like the last party.
Yeah, it's like the time when you can chill with all your friends, and you don't. It's just like we've done it forever, and you want to be with your friends and some family members. Usually, friends more than family members.
That's what I think. Thanksgiving, then you got to do it the family. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
And the most traveling I like to do is probably down to the brewery to meet all the guys.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And have a cookout there or something.
But think about Labor Day, what it's really supposed to mean, the meaning of Labor Day. And when it came to mind, I always thought it was kind of I hate to say it, kind of a dumb holiday. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad we have it because people get their time off for that reason. Where, 4th of July, we know what that is. That's Independence Day, USA. We love the vets. We love, military, whatever.
Yeah.
But Labor Day, what the hell are we celebrating? What are we doing? I mean, I know when it's supposed to be, but what do you all think when you think of Labor Day, like the real meaning of it? Work. See, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
It's been lost for a long time.
It's,
work.
See, nobody knows or cares.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's about
July
working.
with an identity crisis.
Yeah.
It's 4th of July 2.0.
Yeah.
That's what
And
it is.
There you
the
go,
weird
Mike.
thing
It's
is,
like, we don't want to do the fireworks. It's still kind of hot, and it's a
Well,
party.
actually, you look, when I was in New York during Labor Day, several times, and you had the liberals go and they marching, we need decent wages in Africa. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This is so stupid. You can't have your cookouts
Back to Somalia.
marching.
Call
Marching in
back
the
to
streets.
Somalia. Shanugu, what's it called?
Decent wages.
Mogadishu.
Mogadishu.
20 hours, $20 an hour at McDonald's or else. So yeah, that is what I saw in New York. Because it's kind of a liberal thing. We need decent wages, and the man and
The people in
corporations are
Grasstown
bad.
make
Man.
decent wages. It's a very good McDonald's to work at.
Yeah.
I think it's like a campaign against the man, against corporate America, and how terrible it is for the common people. That's how I see it. When I was in New York, I was like, well, how terrible is that? I mean, but that's kind of what I have experienced with Labor Day.
Didn't it really get big coming out of the 50s, back when the Red Scare and everything? Because actually there were a lot of American Communist Party was involved in it, push labor.
Right.
That type of thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what it was. My favorite thing. Yeah.
They dealt with that in England too, because I watched Peaky Blinders. And that was a lot about labor.
Yeah. Well,
factories and stuff.
my favorite thing about Labor Day is when you've got a millionaire who's made more money in 1 year than my husband made his whole time in the Marine Corps, complaining about people's wages and yelling at billionaires. It's like,
no, but you're okay. Now let me get this right. I want to make sure, because usually we're on the same side, Stephanie. So you're complaining about the millionaire or the workers?
Basically, it's hypocritical to me for someone who makes multi-millions a year screaming about low paying jobs.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you here, because it's their fucking factory. They can do what they want. If you don't want to work there, don't work there.
Yeah.
That's
how I feel.
That's how I feel. It was not good to have child labor and all that. Look, there was a point when people were being taken care of or being taken advantage of. Back in the day, it was really terrible. Back in the day, whenever it was in New York and it had child labor, and a lot of Irish were being
the Nike factory.
Right. And then in other countries, I get it. But here in America,
mines.
Yeah, it's terrible. Now that's terrible. That's different. But whenever people complain and say, well, and I'm like, if I owned a company, well, I do own a company, Sorvino Vino. I'm like, well, don't work for me, bitch.
No, exactly.
If you don't like it, move on down the road over to Kendall Jackson. Be my guest. That's America. If you don't like it, go to Canada.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
I think like what Stephanie's referring to are people like, and I'll say it, Biden, pay your fair share, pay your taxes, but my family won't.
Well, that's
the hypocrite. The hypocritical.
I know, because Stephanie and I always agree, so I wasn't understanding where she was coming from.
Well, when Elon Musk bought X, and there's
good for him. Look, he is so awesome. He should be a billionaire. I'm proud of that. I'm glad we're able to have billionaires, because in China you can. If you're smart, guess what? You're still super duper poor, like the dumbass next door.
They have billionaires.
Take the diamond mine money and buy Twitter. That's what I think.
They have.
Me too. I love Elon.
They have billionaires. The Chinese have billionaires, but they're all connected to the government. It's
right.
Kind of like if you think of fascist Germany, it's like that.
Okay.
Right. And Russia does the same thing. It's the what do you call them?
It's oligarchs.
Oligarchs. They're the billionaires.
I know, but in America, you want to separate from the government to make your billions and millions.
Exactly.
And I thought that. I don't think they should be taxed. I think they should be taxed, but I don't think they should be picked on, because they made the money. They made the money. That is America. That's a success story.
Now. Elon Musk is being gone after by the Justice Department for hiring too many Americans for SpaceX.
Oh,
Excuse me.
I know. I know.
I think he wins that round. I think he'll win that round.
I'm just worried about the gap between the super poor and ultra wealthy getting too thin. With the middle class.
I think that's done on design.
Scary.
Yeah, it is.
They don't designed to keep the power, and you keep the people. They have to do what you say to get their little bit of money.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
scary.
Yeah,
like they want
but
you.
the government, you want to keep the government out of it so it can work itself out. For me, I say let it alone.
Exactly.
Just let it
Exactly.
alone.
Get them out of it.
Let the rich be rich and let them be successful, and thank goodness for that.
That's
So
that's
then
why
there
I
are
think
jobs. And if if you're poor, I mean, I'm sorry, it's America. You can work hard and get ahead. But when you're
Yeah.
whining and bitching and griping with your hand out and you don't want to work to the government, that's when we got the problem. And there are too many of those.
I think
Yeah,
that's why
I agree.
unions are cool,
Absolutely.
you know? Like if you work for a company and you go to the boss with respect and say, hey, I think I ought to be paid more. And they're like, well, I don't. Then you go and get everybody else to agree. It's more like the law of averages. It all kind of averages
Well,
out.
I'm
Now
gonna
it's not just one person, it's
I
everybody.
disagree.
I disagree too. Boy, am I the
Yeah.
grumpy Republican on this show. We
I'm
gotta
a
lighten it
grumpy
up.
libertarian.
Now
I'm a
I'm
grumpy
like, well,
libertarian.
I'm libertarian really more so than, but I'm just saying, look, I don't want to be in a union. I am in a union. I'm SAG-AFTRA, but I don't even want to be in that. I don't want people. I can do it for myself. I
That's an
don't want you
example of it
involved.
swinging.
I
That's
don't
where
want you
it's swung
involved.
too far.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want a meritocracy. I don't want it because you people are doing it for me. I want to do it myself. Now, if I can't do it myself, I'll move to the next company. I just don't believe. I don't like unions. I'm against it.
Yeah.
But
My dad
I will say SAG-AFTRA because I am a member. I'll try to be a good sport. And while they're out there picketing, which I will not do that. But
Well,
and Tony, I wanted to ask you about this because
SAG's
it's
gone
Labor
too
Day.
far.
Well,
They're
Yeah.
not
Tony,
here to help
do
anybody.
you see them
Well,
outside?
most of your unions aren't anymore. They're out for their
Yeah.
own self, and
Yeah.
they
Oh.
I'm
become
not a fan.
political parties now.
Yeah,
D-
well,
d-
they are political
ask-
parties.
I mean, like
Yeah.
in its early days, like when
Yeah.
you're at a coal factory and you're
Well,
like,
yeah,
hey, we're
that
breathing, we're
that's
breathing
different.
coal here. We deserve
Yeah.
double pay. You got a big house on the hill. We're, sipping
There's-
porridge. We don't even know what porridge is, but can we have
Right.
sandwiches,
Yeah.
please? We all
But
want
Michael,
sandwiches.
but they've gone over the
Yeah.
top too much.
They
Oh,
have.
it's swung way
They
too
have.
far.
Good
The
Yeah.
grief.
original premise
Ask-
of the unions was supposed to be wages, hours, and safety. And
Right.
that was it.
Yeah.
So
And,
yeah,
and
so
now they've
SAG,
become
Now it's
influencers.
woke and
SAG
woker.
is paying. So every actor that you see on TV currently that would be working in the fall, I mean, like all these big time actors, all the little guys' dues are paying for that. I don't know if you
Right.
guys knew that.
Oh yeah,
I know
oh
that.
yeah.
Oh, I
All
know
We
that.
all know it. Yeah.
That's me. I'm
Yeah.
paying my
We're-
dues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, why am I paying for Tom Cruise's salary for, Tom?
Well, what
Yeah.
I don't like, this is what I don't
Right.
like, and this is one of my biggest problems with unions. I don't like my dues going for liberal causes that I don't believe in. That's
Yep.
what I don't
Right.
like.
Yeah.
But
And
I
they
can't
crush-
work. But I can't work unless I'm in the union. So that's crap.
If you really want to hear how bad the unions are, ask anybody who's lower than the leadership at WGA. Oh my God. The WGA is basically run by Chairman Mao and his 4 wives. I'm
Well,
not
they're
kidding.
not doing anything
Oh.
now. It's the writers
No,
and
they're
SAG.
not.
Right
Yeah.
now, nobody's working. They're just out there
Yeah.
picketing. That's
And
what
I
I'm doing.
and
and
it's-
I do
Cabaret.
agree with what they're fighting for, because with the Writers Guild, we have to copyright all our stuff with the Writers Guild. So
Yeah.
they
Right.
have all the scripts. So they can take all the scripts, they can run their AI, and they can produce it. So they've used all of our work to make the products.
Yeah, I kind of
That's
see
where it's wrong.
WGA. I see where WGA is coming from. I didn't really understand why SAG jumped in, really. So, Tony, tell us about it because they're right outside our door of the studio, but you're there. What are you seeing lately? The picketers, are you there?
Tony.
He joined them.
Tony.
Tony,
Well, I guess
put
he
down
went
the
to them.
sign and come back.
He's outside
Yeah.
smoking a doobie
Yeah.
with the picketers.
I'd be
No,
with
but
them.
yeah,
I'd be like,
no, but it's interesting with the AI stuff is because they can take
That's
your image
crazy.
and likeness.
That's crazy.
What
Yeah.
if they took Sir Paul, his image, and they
Nope.
said, well, we're going to do a Goodfellas
I'll
too.
sue them. I'll sue them because
Yeah.
I own the rights to his likeness,
they
name,
have to.
image, all of that, and I will sue them, and I would win.
What
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher's
Good.
family did,
Good luck with that.
That's good. I like
what
that.
Billy Lord did when they wanted to, they've got all the images of all the old Star Wars actors when they were younger, and they get paid for it. Okay, those guys get paid for it. What I have heard is they want to use AI to fill in for extras and lower tier whatever actors,
Yeah.
so
I
they don't have
bet,
to pay
yeah.
for it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
pay for it.
Because
Okay.
extras are a big business. It's a very expensive big business.
Yeah,
We
and
were at Castle Studios in Burbank a couple years ago, and they were showing us during their computer and green screen, what they could do if we were going to do a film there. And they showed the interior of LAX and people walking around pulling bags and all this stuff. And they told us those are all AI people that they
Yeah.
took the initial film of an empty terminal, and those are all created. And you look at it,
Mhm.
you go, they don't look fake, and that's scary. And that's what you're
Yeah.
talking about, Stephanie.
yeah,
Right there.
And when what it's really doing is it's killing filmmaking. Because when I moved to town around
Right.
2013, I could go to Burbank and I was allowed to film and not get into any trouble because they said, oh, any filming, any independent, any student films, you could do it. And then as a background actor, you could go on the set. And if you're cool, you can actually talk to people. I talk to sound
Yeah.
guys, lighting technicians,
Yeah.
directors,
Absolutely.
everybody. So
Yeah.
to see how a huge production works, you're able to take all that information and put that into your own film. And I bet Tom can attribute that too. How much
Oh,
you
that's so
learn
true.
working.
I've learned so much from just asking questions, and almost everybody I've talked to, if not everybody, in those situations are more than willing to share with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they love it when
they
you
love
ask
it.
them stuff, because I want to know. Okay, I may not want to be the director or DP, but I want to know what you do, because when
Yeah.
I interact with you, I want to be able to at least kind of talk on your level.
Yeah, the
And
sound guy
yeah.
showed me at Fox
Yeah.
Studios. He was like, "Here's the grid up here. Here's how it
Yeah.
runs." I mean, people they love what they're doing and they want to
Yeah.
share it. But you
So
can't
that's
do
why
that
when
with
we went through the
AI.
studio, they were like, "Oh, look at this! Oh, wait, let's show you this," and they're more than happy to do that.
Yeah, so it's really just killing the. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there's not even a million films out total. I think my
What
film
do you
is
mean?
about. Well, I believe my film, The Finish Line, is around 968,000 and something or another.
Huh.
So, and these are films, feature films within IMDb. So we haven't even hit 1 million feature films within IMDb yet.
Wow.
So we're still relatively young in the art form.
But yeah, what's really sad is so many of the films from like 100 years ago, more than that, have been destroyed. So we've got like a tenth of the silent films. And if you think about that, that's where the genre really and it really started. And think of all the art that's been lost because of that, and the knowledge. I mean, it's like, it's sad.
Yeah.
I really like watching silent film because you get an idea of where the technology was, and then you see where it is now.
And you see
Yeah.
what they did and how they used, like Charlie Chaplin. One of my favorite ones is hanging from the clock.
Yeah.
And when you see how they actually made it using forced perspective, and with all how the DP figured out how to shoot it to make it look that way, and it's like, this is history, and this is how we got to where we're at. And I love that.
So
stuff.
the DP for Cool Hand Luke, he went to USC and got a master's degree in visual arts, and he talked about how people made fun of him. They're like, visual arts? What are you gonna do with that? Moving images? Like you're not gonna make any money with that. They thought he was crazy back then.
Talkies, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
Well, that'll never happen. And then half the actors, more than half, had to quit because they couldn't do it. Some of those guys showed up on screen and sounded like they were sucking helium. It's like, no, you have to be able to emote. And
as far as extras working and background extras, that's paid a lot of bills for me personally.
Oh
yeah. I mean, that
helps out a lot of people.
Well, no, a lot of people just do extra work for the insurance, and they do that that's all they do. That's all they do.
Yeah. And It sounds like to me like the studios are trying to figure out how to get out of it, and they got caught. All right,
Mhm.
because the big actors like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, John Travolta, their estates will be paid into perpetuity for
Well, yeah,
that.
of course. They're not the issue.
their-
They're not the issue. Why even bring? I mean,
No,
they're not part of this.
And because if you look, this is me. If you are on an A+ scale in Hollywood and you don't make a deal like that, you're a moron. All right, you're just you're not even. It's like 100 years from now, you can walk onto a scene in a movie and be like you were when you were 25. Okay, and you've been dead for 80 years. All right. That's what that could do. But for people like, us, it screws everybody over. All right. It screws you over. And the WGA is worried about AI taking over. And the studios actually had a really good agreement. My friend Kamran writes incessantly about this because he's a member, he's a writer and a producer. And the WGA's leadership walked away, and he was like, "This is the best deal we've had. This is literally," and he was like, so he thinks they're being screwed by the
Well, when do you
leadership now.
guys think of the picket liners? What do you think of Fran Drescher and what's going on? Do you know enough about it?
Yeah, I don't think.
The thing with
I
Fran
think they're-
Drescher,
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mind what she's doing in that. And she made a comment that she wasn't doing this for her. It was for everybody that does background and extras that needs the protection. And
Well,
the
why
money.
even insert herself? She's the damn president of the union. I mean, it's kind of a dumb remark. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. I think that she's not just sitting in an office saying do this. She's getting out there doing it with them. And I kind of look at it. Okay, I want you to set by example. And I like the fact that she focused. It was on the lower skilled, or not skilled, the lower paid people, and also your grips and your electrical people, lighting, all this. And she was talking about that and it's true. That's really what the strike should be about, is protecting all of the people that make it. When I work, what do I get? We get like $25 an hour when you break it down. When you get the SAG
Not
scale.
a lot. No,
it's not a lot. It's not
nobody
a lot.
makes scale is nothing. I mean, nobody makes money anymore unless you're Tom Cruise. It's just tough to make money in films anymore. It just is.
Yeah.
The non-union stuff, the non-union jobs I get in the Bay Area, they pay way above scale.
Right.
Oh, they do too. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can work non-union, make great money.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the problem. If the writers don't figure it out, a lot of them are going to end up going the other way, and it is going to break the union. That's what Kamran and a bunch of other people believe.
I'm going to go back to The Offer, where the head of the studio tried to be the writer, and he realized that he couldn't write. And see, what they're doing right now is the business people are trying to be business people against writers. They're saying, okay, in 6 months, they're not gonna be able to pay rent. They're gonna have to leave town or succumb to our demands. And if that does happen, there's just gonna be a bunch of more dog crap scripts out there.
Well, that was the Colin Hanks character, right? Colin Hanks.
Yeah. He could write the scripts. He was like, I'm over my head here.
Yeah. Well, when he realized, he turned around and looks at the panorama of pictures of Bob Evans with Elizabeth Taylor and Clint Eastwood and all these people. He's like, and Robert Mitchum, and he's like, I'm in way over my head. I am a money guy. I'm a
yeah. And the artist type, Bob Evans, he's like, you're making a fool. Everyone's looking at you. He's like, you're damn right. Everyone's looking at me because I shine like gold, baby.
Yeah, he said that.
What a great character.
That was a great line right there.
It was really good.
You got a list of life to write a line like that. You're not
you guys. Did I ever tell you all Paul knew him?
Oh my God!
The real one or the actor?
The real one.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me. He knew everybody.
Yeah, and because they were about the same age, and
Yeah.
You know, he and Paul would just say he was just a character. He was a wild man. I mean, so they
Yeah.
did do a good job in the offer. And this was when Paul talked about him, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't really understand, but you know, he would talk about Bob Evans. I remember because of the restaurant,
Yeah.
and about Paramount and one of the studio heads. Okay, Paul talked about a lot of people, but then after the offer, I started to remember the things he said about him, and he said he was crazy. I mean, in a good way, crazy in a good way. And then just like a wild man and women and wild, just crazy, big character, bigger than life, but wild and just unique, and I thought that was my favorite. That was my favorite character in the offer for sure. But
Oh, mine too.
Paul basically backed up that he really was like that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Bold,
I mean,
bold, kiss my ass. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I don't care if you don't like it.
Well,
Fuck off.
yeah, and
That's
see,
the way it
he
was.
started from the bottom up. Who was it? He said he did a scene with early in his career.
He said
Oh.
the kid stays in the movie. That was
Yeah.
was his thing. That was his story.
When
And the
he
only
did a
reason I
scene
know
with
that
James Dean, he goes,
the kid
I've
stays in
shared
the movie.
Yeah, I've shared the screen with James Dean, and you're gonna tell me? And the
Jimmy
business guys
Cagney.
were
It was James Cagney.
James
It was
Cagney.
Jimmy
That's
Cagney.
right.
Yeah.
I
And
shared
Now,
the
what
screen
was
with
it he shared
Cagney.
the screen with Jimmy Cagney and what?
yeah, that's it. That's what
Oh,
he
okay.
said. And I mean, Matthew Good did such a good job as him. I
Mm.
mean, when he's driving down the
My
Texas
God,
road,
I love him. And then
oh, God.
okay, so what did you see it, Tom? Did you see the offer?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
Okay,
I was, in
so
fact, we were filming upstairs, back to Brooklyn, upstairs, when they were filming it downstairs in the cabaret bar.
right,
And they
right,
kept
right.
saying- They kept
I-
sending the PA up to us.
I
saying,
immediately-
down.
I immediately recognized the room. What was in the cabaret room? It was Art Deco,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I mean, the Art
The
Deco,
Art
you're
Deco
right.
bar.
The Art Deco
Yeah,
bar.
so
Oh,
you guys,
that
it was in Our American Legion. Tom is like he is like a god there with the little G. We don't want to be blasphemous, but I'm there a lot, but Tom's there all the time, and he's like chaplain and all these things. So anyway, but I immediately, whenever they were, he was having this sit down with the LA mobster, and they
Yeah,
were, and the guy was wiping the glass or whatever. That was in our bar, where we are all the time. And when Tom's there and Lydia, we're always there together. We're always at the end of the bar. So that was fun to see. That was cool.
Yeah,
It
that
is,
was.
it is.
Yeah, I love that
You know why
scene so
we're
much.
you know why we're attracted to that end of the bar, Dee Dee? I don't know
think
if you
I do.
know.
I think I do, but go ahead.
That's where Humphrey Bogart. That was where he always sat.
And
It was
Clark
at that end we
Gable.
were at.
And Clark
Clark
Gable.
Gable.
So
And
then
and-
I
And
always feel like we're
Tom will
close to
tell
them.
you. Tom will tell you. I'm always there early, and I always go right to the end of the bar. And we always end
Yep.
up, Lydia and me and Tom and others, we always end up right there. So the spirit of Clark Gable and Humphrey Bogart are there with us.
Oh, awesome.
And it's awesome.
Those,
And then when
You know-
TCM, they do the film festival, and they're always in the bar filming, and they've got
Yeah.
commercials there in the bar. It's a really special place. But I have to say that I thought it was so funny when Bob Evans in the scene when he hunts down Ally McGraw, and she's with Steve McQueen, and he goes,
yeah,
Yeah.
"You fucked the blob."
yeah. The blonde.
You
You're
fucked the-
fucking the
no, no, no,
blonde.
no, the blob. You
Yeah.
fucked the blob, because remember Steve
that's what
McQueen
he
was in the
says.
blob. It is
oh my
so
God, I
funny.
thought he said the blonde.
It
No,
is.
no,
It
no,
is
no.
hilarious.
No, he said, "You fucked the blob." I thought that was so funny.
Oh, she's
Man.
probably wanted to kill him for saying that to her.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
guarantee,
Hey,
I
she's the one who
guarantee he
cheated.
actually said that.
Of course he did,
Uh-huh.
and she's the one who cheated. It's like, why don't? I mean, I
Well,
blamed her
it's-
in that. Why don't you just get out honestly instead of cheating? I hate cheaters.
Yeah. Well,
So
you know,
I felt
my
bad
thing
for
is-
I felt bad for him, not her.
Oh, I
And-
do too, because look, women back in those late 60s era decided they were whatever and could do whatever, and the men didn't matter, and that's what she did. And it's
Yeah.
like that worked that way, not worked that way.
Now she fucked the blob.
Yeah.
Great lines.
My
They
God,
had
it was
great
like-
lines in that
Very-
whole.
Yeah, he did.
He said, "Wait a minute, are you here with McQueen? you fucked the blob. I just thought that was so funny. So, Michael, what was one of your favorite scenes, or in the opera? What's your favorite part of it? There were so many good scenes, but when we were talking about Evans, I just thought of that part. It was funny.
Yeah. I like that because when it shows him breaking down and just being at his lowest, that's what a movie's like.
And then he came back, and then remember he got there. Then he got to the meeting because he knew what was going on. He knew everything was going to get canned, and then he made the big speech about Paramount is the top. Because he could sell anybody anything. And
a guy like that, just being able to do anything, you have to have a long list of skills to pull something like
and
that.
big balls.
Balls.
Big balls.
See, I liked it when the guy,
I've got the biggest balls of all.
The writer kid snuck on the lot and talked to Bob Evans, and he was like,
"No, that was
Al
Ruddy.
This is wrong. But I'll give you a meeting because that's
Al
what I
Ruddy.
did.
Right.
I know, right?
He knows.
Michael.
I always say I never went into the front door. I always kind of went my way through the back door and ended up
That's how
talking
you
to
do
somebody.
it.
Michael, I think you remind me of that. You remind me of that because I think you do. No, because you do such a good job at just persevere. Because Michael and I have worked on a lot of things together, and then people are assholes. I mean, they don't do what they say they're going to do, whatever. And Mike's like, okay. He has the asshole Buckeye, and he moves on. And then we have people saying they're going to do stuff, and they never do. And then, but Michael just keeps at it. And my favorite was when 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, he goes, what's going on with Trisha Morrison? He was busy at the time because I said, would you want to work on this? And he was busy doing the other stuff he was doing. And then he just popped up with it. I'm really interested in this. So I contacted Trisha. And then she goes, that sounds good. And of course they click, as good people do. And now it's happening.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So my favorite scene in the opera was at the dinner when Gianni Russo was being a dickhead, and Al Pacino as Michael Corleone.
Johnny, he was a dickhead.
Yeah, in real life he's a dickhead.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Al
He is
Pacino,
so cheesy.
Yeah, Al Pacino as Michael Corleone goes, you know what the name Corleone means? Heart of the lion. So if I were you, I wouldn't advertise I was the slowest in the herd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was like,
no, but even a better scene is when they beat the shit out of him. That was funny.
Oh my god,
that was I was going to bring
funny.
I was going to bring that up. That was my favorite scene.
Give it a minute.
Yeah,
I
James
got beat
Caan
up by Jimmy Caan.
Douchebag. He's such a douchebag. He was bragging about it. I got beat okay, 5 minutes, guys. But he was bragging about it. What a douchebag. I mean, but that's his claim to fame, and he still acts like it's his claim to fame. That's all he's got.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I talked to some people that worked on the film, and they go, "Yeah, that really happened." It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Al Ruddy was like, okay, no one hits Talia. And I'm sure.
Of course not. Terrible.
Coppola was like, you fucking hit my sister? And no, I'll take care of it. Jimmy, can we talk?
Ruddy's like, I got this. And that was so, and then remember they go, give it a minute. Give it a minute.
It was great.
Keeps like, get the fuck beat out of him. And he did. They did. He had broken ribs and a bunch of problems. I mean, he did beat the shit out of him. And Jim, and we knew, I knew Jimmy Caan myself well, at the end with Paul. I mean, he is a character. Really a great guy. Really a character. And of course, it was sad because he and Paul died about the same time. But boy, was he a character. He was really like that.
Grandpa is a great film.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Here, let's do our drink picture quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Thank God you're
Better
here,
you than me.
Michael takes the worst pictures ever. I don't know how to make such great movies because his pictures suck. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't have to make movies using screenshots.
Right.
There you go.
Okay.
There we go.
I got
Stephanie. And there we go. I'll do one, another, and another. Perfect.
And Tommy takes a bunch. Michael takes 1.5 bad ones.
Yeah,
He
my
can't
son.
even. He can't even take 2 bad ones. He takes 1.5 bad. It's that bad. So yeah, we need.
But
to.
hard to
that's
get
why we
everyone.
love Michael. One of the many reasons we all love
Yeah.
Michael.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's part of the reason that for anyone's success is knowing your limitations
That's true.
and to be like, I don't do that. I can't do it.
You know what? You're so right. And we've only got probably a minute left, but you always have to know what you can't do. I know what I can't do, and I try to get
Yeah.
the best people I
Yep.
know in, pull them in. So,
And
all right,
remember
guys.
wheelhouse.
remember when you had to bullshit, like you get a job, you're like, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to do. Well, like when you start your own projects, it's the opposite. You have to go, I have no clue.
Right.
No.
And bring in the
You
right
do
people.
it.
Okay, you
Yeah,
guys,
right.
round robin. What are you doing Labor Day weekend, Stephanie?
We're having people over on Sunday, so I have to literally clean the house from top to bottom because
Oh,
it's
that's
being
fun.
inspected.
Woohoo! Woohoo! All right, Tommy,
Right.
what are you doing Labor Day weekend?
We're going down to the brewery, Norco Brewery, which is about a half a mile from here. Beautiful venue, and we're going to have some beers.
That is way better than Stephanie.
Wisconsin.
Michael, go Wisconsin. Michael, what are you up to? Make it Trisha's movie. Make it our movie. I'm executive producer. Michael's executive producer. Trisha is. It's gonna be amazing, and you're all gonna be on the red carpet. Everybody's
Right.
invited, right?
Awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll let you guys know because when I'm coming to town, I'll
Because
interview.
Michael's really the boss. I'm there for moral support, and I put the team together. Trisha has the story, so it's a good team. It's a good team.
Hey, Michael, if you need any help at all doing the back stuff, I'm laid up probably through November with my legs. So shout me up because I can help you do something.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sure thing.
I can help some on research too. I mean, I'm good at that. Trust me.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
I know you
interview.
are.
We got to get
Yeah,
you to
well-
Burbank first so we can interview.
Yeah, no
you
kidding,
no
right?
shit.
in person.
You know what, Stephanie?
Yeah.
I don't
Rudy.
want to even hear it until you get to Burbank. It is the safest place in the world. It's fine. Michael,
All
what are you
right.
up to?
House, you be and go. Oh, I'm just resting, relaxing, working, seeing what we can get going. So
Well, I'm just trying to plan out, what I'm doing through the rest of the year, because you know what? The rest of the year is here. September is right around the corner. Like what, tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's
tomorrow.
I can't wait.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh my God. You guys, there's a huge box of pumpkins at our local grocery store. I'm like, they're not going to last through the end of September,
time.
but
It's time.
they're going
My
to
You want
favorites. All right, you guys, we got to go. But one quick word. What's your favorite season, Stephanie?
fall, winter,
One, Stephanie.
fall.
It's Tommy.
It's always been fall.
Michael.
Fall till I bow.
What the fuck? What?
Fall. Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'm autumn. Same though. Love you guys. We're all fall
Love you
people.
too.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys.
Auf
Take
Wiedersehen.
care, everybody.
Happy
Next
Labor
time.
Day weekend to lovers and losers. Bye.
Hurrah.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
You guys. All right. Good night, guys.